In this video, we're going to have a look at how to add and subtract simple algebraic fractions. There are 4 steps to be able to add and subtract any algebraic fraction. The first one is to find the lowest common denominator of both of our fractions. And we do this by finding the lowest common multiple. If you can not find a lowest common multiple, the easy way of doing this is multiplying your first fraction by the second denominator and multiplying the second fraction by the first denominator. If you complete that process, then you'll be able to find a common multiple and find a common denominator. Step 2 is after we've got our lowest common denominator, we want to rewrite each fraction as an equivalent fraction with the common denominator. So we want to be changing both of our fractions so they have the lowest common denominator identified. And what we do to the bottom to get that common denominator, we've got to do to the top of each fraction. After we've rewritten the fraction with the common denominator, the step 3 is to express as a single fraction. So you do that by either adding or subtracting, depending on the question. And then the last step is to simplify the numerator. You do not have to do anything further with the denominator. So let's have a look at an example to see how the steps work. In this example, I want to simplify the expression 3x over 5 plus x over 2. So to do that, I need to follow the 4 steps. The first one is to identify a lowest common denominator. Now, my two denominators are 5 and 2. So my lowest common denominator of 5 and 2 is going to be 10. Now that I have identified 10 as my lowest common denominator, I need to complete step 2 and rewrite the expression with that common denominator. So I need to have a look at how do I go and turn 5 and 2 into 10. And to turn 5 into 10, I need to times it by 2. And if I'm timesing the denominator by 2, I also need to times the numerator by 2. To go from 2 to 10, I need to times by 5. So 2 times 5, and what I do to the denominator, I need to do to the numerator, so it's going to be x times 5. So now that I know what I need to do to both my numerator and my denominator, I can go ahead and complete step 2 and rewrite with my common denominator of 10. So 3x times 2 is going to equal 6x. And that's going to be over 10. And then plus x times 5 is going to be 5x over 10. So now you can see that in my expression, I have got common denominators. So now that I've got my common denominator, I can go ahead and express it as a single fraction to complete my step 3. So to express it as a single fraction, what I need to do is I need to look at my numerators, and it is going to be 6x plus 5x. So the operation sign that goes in the middle comes down from the question. So if it was minus in the question, it would be 6x minus 5. But in this case, it is going to be 6x plus 5 over, and then just my common denominator of 10. So step 3 gets me 6x plus 5 over 10. And the last step is going to be to simplify the numerator. So I do that by collecting like terms. So 6x plus 5x is going to equal 11x, and that is going to be 11x over my common denominator of 10. So the expression 3x over 5 plus x over 2 simplifies to 11x over 10. And I found that by completing the 4 steps, step by step. If you complete the 4 steps, you will be able to simplify any addition or subtraction involving algebraic fractions.